The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cop Talk. I'm Kevin Schroeder, your host, and today's guest on Cop Talk is the co-founders of General Needs, which is a great project. It's a great organization, foundation that helps the veterans. And as we know, there's just too many veterans out there that are homeless and not getting the care that they need. So today's guest, we have co-chairman Susan Sherman and Lonnie Sherman.
Hey.
Folks, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Sure, my pleasure.
Exciting to be here.
So, Lonnie, why don't you tell us? Lonnie, we'll start with Susan. Susan, why don't we start with you, and you could tell us a little bit about your background, how you guys got together with this organization, how you started it. Just tell us all about it that we need to know.
So it all started in 2008. Lonnie was working in Manhattan. He was working at the Javits Center at a dental show. And he met a local dentist nearby us in East Northport, Dr. Ray Mascolo, who came over and asked him for all of his swag, his balls on the table to bring to a homeless shelter in Northport. And Lonnie was like, "What do you mean homeless shelter in Northport? I live right there." So he got invited to go up and join Dr. Ray in doing his once-a-month hot meal that he was doing for the veterans. And while he was there, the veterans were asking Lonnie, listen, could you help me out? I need some underwear. I'm going commando.
Wow. And
so from there, Lon?
Well, they are commandos, but they don't want to be commando all the time, I'm guessing. It really is something we never think about because we've all donated you outgrow a jacket or you want a different jacket, you donate it. But nobody ever donates underwear, socks, and T-shirts. When I grew up, you turned it into a rag and you cleaned your car with it. Now we buy a box of rags at Home Depot.
Right, true.
So we started doing that with our family. Mm-hmm. We got together. We went to Modell's, which was a store at the time we'd go to all the time, and buy a big bin of socks. And local kids would come over and match the socks because they just threw it in a big bin. We'd have enough socks. We'd have a few pair of underwear, a few T-shirts. We'd put it in a Trader Joe's paper bag. Mm-hmm. We'd make it as neat as we possibly could, and we'd go bring it up to the 40, 50 vets that were living at the Northport VA homeless shelter. At that time, it was run by Salvation Army.
Right.
We'd bring a dinner with Dr. Ray, and I'd be the underwear guy. And it's a tough crowd. I was Captain Underpants.
So how often would you come in with the
We would go there every 2 months when we'd gather enough of that stuff.
Okay.
I'd go to my friends' offices or we'd go to family. Hey, you know what? I need underwear. They'd laugh at me, but I'd go get it. And every couple of months, we'd go bring some underwear and T-shirts to the vets. And it's grown since then, thank God.
But now back then, you also were going into your own pocket and purchasing all this wear for the vets.
Yeah.
Okay. And what year was that?
That was 2008, 2009.
Okay, 2008, 2009.
Yeah, when we started doing that. And we did that for several years. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't stop. We were always involved in some other charity organizations, which felt we've always needed to give back. But when you meet a man and women who served our country, and they come back and they're really at some of the lowest points of their life when they're in a shelter, and they have nothing, and they're not being supported enough, how do you not do that?
Right.
How did I not take that on at that point?
Right. Exactly. And, with PTSD and everything else.
Oh, my gosh.
It's just, and I'm sure a lot of the vets you run into were probably some of them anyway, were former law enforcement personnel, right? From whether it be Nassau, Suffolk, NYPD.
Everything, every walk of life. I've seen professional football players that joined after 9/11, and then they came back and they've had issues.
Right.
And so every walk of life, it's hard luck. Sue tells a story about a vet who took a fall. What was that?
So, when you're in the shelter and they want to tell you their story, they want to share. And so this one veteran said, I'm not in here. I don't have substance abuse or alcohol abuse issues. And I said, okay, that's fine. He's like, do you want to know why I'm here? And I'm like, sure, if you want to share, that's fine. And so he was working. He was doing just fine. And he fell. And he broke his hip.
Wow.
So he had surgery. He went to rehab. And he was sent home. And when he got home, he was in his apartment. Everything was good. He had just enough money to make that rent to bridge that gap, and he fell again. And then when he fell again surgery and rehab. And by the time he came home and was discharged, the landlord had, gotten rid of all of his, belongings, locked the door, and he was now homeless.
Wow.
So that was really an impactful story. But there's so many of them, the vets that we've met. Often it's a crisis or a critical situation that's happened. The wife passed away, which is one of our first vets that we met doing, the bed and the apartment project. His wife passed away. He came home from Vietnam, combat vet, was doing fine. Maybe he was drinking a little bit at night, but was working, assimilated, and was fine. The wife passed away, and a couple days after the funeral, he left and went out to live in the woods. And he lived in the woods for 3 years.
Wow. It's amazing, right? It's these stories, it's hard to believe, but
Real,
it's very,
real
very true.
stories.
Now, so then at what point did Susan and Lonnie, did you decide to get this foundation up and running?
Well, honestly, I got tired of being called the Captain Underpants or Underwear Man.
The underwear man. There he is. Yeah.
But we had to make it grow. We saw the need. So talking about the gentleman Sue just spoke about, we met him in his apartment. When he finally got out of shelters, and we knew him in the shelter, we brought him the underwear, the T-shirts, the socks. And Sue and I were so happy to go visit him when he finally got his own place. And I believe it was in Patchogue, New York. And we got there, and he had a cot, he had a coat, and he had boxes that he was using as furniture. And Sue points out he had one fork, one knife, one spoon, and he had an old ratty frying pan. And Sue looked in his freezer, and what do you see there?
And there was frozen Meals on Wheels packages.
Oh, wow.
And I said, so I don't see a microwave. How are you cooking? And he said, well, I take it and I smush it in the nonstick pan. And so I'm eating that. And I was like, well, then it's like mush. He's like, yeah, I eat mush every night.
Oh, wow.
But that was horrible. But it was the bed, right? So he had moved into this apartment several days beforehand. And we were so surprised because we were like, well, where is your bed? Where's your furniture? He's like, well, this is it. We said, well, who's providing your bed? Thinking that there was an agency or somebody would be doing that. And there wasn't.
Wow.
And that's when our bed project, our Welcome Home project, was born. So we started with twin-size beds because that's what the budget could afford. And then we moved to full-size beds, and now we're up to queen-size beds.
Moving on up.
And that project, like all of the projects that we do or have done, we've evolved kind of organically, that we learn of a need from the veterans themselves, because going back to how it started, right, when we were at the shelters, the emergency shelter up in Northport, VA, they would say, oh, well, I'm not going to be here next month, so I'll miss you. Thank you for everything that you've done. It was great. And it took us a little bit of time, and it was like, well, where are you going?
Yeah.
And then we learned they were moving to a transitional shelter where they could stay a little bit longer and maybe get a little bit different services connected. So we went to the transitional shelters. And then they would say, I got my apartment. And we were like, okay, now where are you going? And that's how we came and grew to that. Kind of the same way as how we grew from underwear, socks, and T-shirts was Lonnie going up to Northport and the vets walking around with sandals and socks. Boots.
Yeah, we got a call. I mean, we were getting ready to come up with our Trader Joe's bag or whatever the bag was of underwear. And we got a call. Hey, Lonnie, it's November and the guys still have flip-flops. What can you do? And I kind of freaked out a little bit. And we went to the Costco stores and brought 40, 50 pair of boots.
Wow.
At that point, connected with our friends at Rotary. And it was something really magical happened then, because we brought up the boots in November. It was a tough winter.
Right.
The vets were able to get jobs doing snow removal, come back and do some good work, and get back into society again. And we said, wow, if they have boots, why don't we do some coats? And we did this. We went back in December with winter coats. It really blew our budget apart for the next 6 months because it was us. But organizations have gotten involved and help us make a difference all the
Right.
time. I remember the first year we did 50 coats and 50 pair of boots. And I said, you know what?
Which is you folks purchased yourself, correct?
Yeah, and through some friends with
Okay.
Rotary and other just people, we've done this. And I said, we really need to do 300
Right.
because there's other shelters we know about. And if 50 pair of boots can get 5 jobs, what's 300 going to do? And everybody said, no, you can't do that. Really, it's really funny. I mean, we started this out of scratch, learning what the needs are. And I look at Sue sometimes and I say, well, how's the VA looking at us as the organization that helps veterans get apartments? Who are we? I'm just some schmuck in an apartment, comes from Brooklyn and now living in Long Island. How did I make this difference? But it is us. There's a lot of the big organizations that I feel should be doing this, and the government that I feel should be doing more, they're really not doing it. So we need to make that difference. But we did 300 pair of boots.
Wow.
We've done as many as 2,100 pair of boots in 1 year.
Wow.
And just to put that in perspective, if we're stacking boots, one
Yeah.
pair on top of another one,
Yeah.
it's the Chrysler Building.
Now, Lonnie, you've been to, and Susan, you've been to many homeless shelters where the
Yeah.
vets are.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience with these homeless shelters in regards to the conditions and et cetera, and the
Some are
personnel.
fantastic.
Right.
Northport, where we started, great shelter. We personally work with a group of shelters, Patriots First in Brooklyn. They have a sister shelter in the Bronx, one in Jersey. We've been in Vermont, wonderful shelters. There's a shelter that we've been to. We should do like a review of shelters.
Yeah.
We
Right.
should start
Yeah.
some kind of new
Right.
thing.
Really, yeah.
Hey, we'll be
Right.
the Yelp of shelters.
Yeah.
New Hampshire's got a shelter. It's almost like a hotel.
It's
And
wonderful.
the
And,
women
they're so
that
warm.
work there are so warm and welcoming, and
Right.
they have a service dog that's a mascot of the shelter. Then some of the city shelters are not so good.
Yeah, tell us
for
about
some
them.
reason, they don't want to let us in the door anymore because
Really?
maybe they don't want us doing that review.
Really?
We did a shelter in Long Island City, and there's 200 to 250 guys there, and we've been going there for years. And for some reason, we weren't allowed to go in one specific year. We're with our partners. PC Richards does a lot of work with us.
Yeah,
I think we're introduced
sure,
by a
PC
fellow friend,
Richards,
Joe
yes.
Marone. And he's with us, and they made us stand in the street and hand out thousands of dollars worth of gear to vets. Made the vets come out in the street, which caused conflict because they wouldn't let us in the building.
Interesting. Wonder why.
Permits and politics and all kind of stuff. And there was one young girl from the city there, and I was talking much not louder than this, and she said, "You're scaring me the way you're talking." And I'm like, "What do you have no idea how to walk
God.
away."
Really?
We'll get into that at another point, but I think we need more checks and balances on the shelters we go to. We're not the experts. We're not social workers. We're just us trying to make a difference. We're your neighbor. People, I said it from the beginning, whose general needs? Look next door to you. Look at your neighbor. Look at your friends. Look at your family members. We're just individuals trying to make a difference.
Right.
So we're not expert in any way, shape, or form, but we have eyes. They're open, and we see what's happening.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of heart. A lot of what we do is not just the items and that we're distributing, it's how we do it, right? It's not just a handout, it's a hand up. It's a handshake and a look in the eye and a thank you for your service.
Yes.
We really appreciate you. And they feel that. Even to the way that we put the items out on the table. One time we were doing something and we had all of our items, boots or sneakers or whatever it was, on one side of the hall. And on the other side, another organization came in and they had done maybe a closet clean out, and they had dumped their clothes. And that night, not one veteran took anything from anybody. Wow. And I was like, oh, but here we have this. They were like, we don't need your stuff. And so it's not what you're giving, it's how you're giving it,
Right.
and the sentiment and the heart behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So we tell our volunteers who are with us, we are not here to judge, we are here to help.
Right.
And if you want to come along, that's the icing on the cake, as we call
Yeah.
it, right? Is in all of our fundraising and all of the steps that it takes to do a distribution of receiving the goods, putting them in the warehouse, packing them up, to put them in the van, to transport them to the location, right? It takes a lot
Yeah.
of work, a lot of hands.
Yeah.
So to do the distribution,
It's rewarding.
that's the reward.
So now, how many people are on your team? Is it just you two?
No, we
okay.
have a board of 9. We have volunteers. Typically, we probably have, right now we're speaking, we have 20 volunteers working, helping,
great.
setting up the apartments. And one of our favorite projects is we work with the special ed kids at the local high school, which is Comac High. And they're picking up job skills, learning how to sort and count
Yep.
and get everything together for their vets. And they're so happy to do it.
Sure.
If they put a duffel bag together, which they'll make most of the duffels, and I go to a shelter, and I actually tell the vets, hey, guys, the special ed kids at the school did this for you. And the vets are really happy with that. Then I go back and the special ed kids, hey, Mr. Lonnie, how'd the guys like what we
Yep.
did from this month? And it's really, it's life-changing here.
Very
And
rewarding, right? Very, very.
It's
well,
sweet.
it's such a need.
good feeling.
We talk about the projects. We'll do 100 apartments this year, from doing the first couple twin-sized beds the first year we did it.
Wow.
And it's with PC Richards, who is a great partner. We call
BC
them up
Richards
with
is very good.
We
Yes.
call them up with a purchase order. We order a queen-size bed, which is the bed, the box spring, the mattress. Then they go set it up.
Right.
Because if they didn't set it up, a lot of times the vets would leave it in plastic
Yeah.
and leave it on the side. We also came up with a new addition. We do a full-size couch. So it's got a pull-out. Because if that vet has a family and maybe he wants the children to visit him, the children would not be able to visit that vet unless there was a
Right.
separate bed, male or female. It's how they
The
cover,
visitation for
visitation
minor
rights.
children.
Yeah.
So we've accommodated that. And
Little
then
kitchen table and everything you can think of, like sending a kid off to college with the dishes, the pots and pans,
Right.
everything, all brand new.
Right.
Air fryers and toaster ovens and dishes.
Right.
To give them the dignity, to give them the chance to succeed.
Yeah.
As a police officer, you know the tough time the vets have gone through.
Sure.
I mean, you've met guys in a corner, and a lot of times when you walk in a corner, the ones who are not begging or asking for anything are the vets. The non-vets,
True.
posing as vets are the ones with a vet hat on, and
Exactly.
I can tell they're not a vet in 2 seconds
Exactly.
flat.
No, exactly. True. Now, how about your fundraising? How you doing with the fundraising?
We try. Can I curse on TV, on the radio?
Absolutely.
We're
It's
terrible.
podcast.
We suck. We need to do better. We're
Right.
not raising enough because we spent $100,000 more last year than we took
Yes.
in. Now we had a good year the year before, but you can't keep spending, as well know in our own budgets in our homes. We can't spend more than we take in. But people say when Lonnie and Sue see something, we're going to do it no matter what. We'll find the money. We started several years back a dental project. It's surprising to us, and as you looking at me now, there's no dental care for a veteran unless they're 100% service-connected disabled.
Wow.
So if the vet's 50% disabled and he's struggling, and like Sue just had major dental work, it's thousands of dollars.
Right.
We do that, not a dental visit where you're going for a checkup and we say, okay, now you need $3,000 over work or $1,000. We do the work. We put the teeth back in their
Wow.
mouths.
That's amazing.
We've done home repairs, which we're going to be looking at a project in the future. We look where the needs are. We look where the honest need is, and we try to fill it.
yeah.
There's so much.
It's there is a lot. There is a lot to be had. Now, Susan.
Yes.
So you also do some work as well with the Tunnel to Towers. You do
Well,
some.
we were there at the groundbreaking, and that was amazing.
The one on Long
and
Island,
looking at their shelter that they're building, and connected with them to see how we could work together.
Right.
If there's a project to be there, we will try to help.
Right.
It doesn't. It's always that evolution, that next step of how we can grow. Who else can we help?
Right.
Right. And just to bring your point back around to fundraising. our fundraising. Our third annual gala is
Yeah, well, we're going to speak about that, of course.
at Leonard's Palazzo in Great Neck on Friday, June 12th at 6:30. You could buy your tickets on generalneeds.org.
So it's at, it's in Great Neck, right?
It's in
The
Great
fundraiser
Neck.
on June 12th.
June 12th,
What's the times?
6:30 to 10:30.
10:30. And you could tell folks how they could purchase tickets?
Yep, you could purchase your tickets on generalneeds.org and just buy them online.
That's great.
There's a link right in.
There's a link right
button.
on the page.
You're a 501c3.
We
Yes,
are
we are.
501c3. We are also Suffolk County certified.
Which is interesting to talk about that,
Right.
yes.
Suffolk County is the only county in the United States that, as a veteran organization seeking funding from the public, we have to certify annually. And so it's really an audit. So I have to, every site that we go to, how many vets, what we're buying, what we're spending, and break it down to how much we've spent in Suffolk County, how much we've spent in Nassau and the other locations, and then you get a certificate. So unless you are certified by Suffolk County, we are vetted, so to speak, by the vets.
Okay. Yeah, vetted by the vets. There
Which
you
is
go.
really important because some of the bigger veteran organizations came into Long Island in the past.
Yes.
And they raised a lot of money and nothing went back to Long Island.
Yeah.
So they want to see
Yeah,
and even though we go to other states and other locations, what was the percentage for Suffolk?
59% for Suffolk County
And
this
then
year.
how much was Nassau?
I don't recall.
it was in the
offhand.
20s or
I think
30s,
it was
yeah.
30 something.
Right. So most of what we do stays in Long Island.
Right.
We need more support to get to New York City. We need more support to
Yep.
get to the New York City shelters.
Yep.
One of the projects we do in Long Island every year with some police officers, every PPA's got involved with us in Suffolk.
sure.
And we collect underwear, socks, and T-shirts in the different police precincts. Brand new, when you're Walmart or Target or something, grab a pack of socks and
Yeah.
throw it in a bucket. We probably should talk to you guys about let's get the cops doing that in New York City.
Yeah. No,
And
exactly.
then we'll hit some New York City shelters.
Yeah. I know New York City precincts, they do, a food drive. They do a coat drive as well,
Right.
in the precincts.
Maybe we got to go to underwear.
Yeah.
Right. Underwear would be great. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the really sweet projects that we started was somebody had donated toys
Okay.
to us. And we were like, okay, what are we going to do with the toys? So we packed them up and we brought them with us to a shelter in Brooklyn and brought wrapping paper. And we let the veterans go shopping for their families.
Oh, nice.
And it was it was so wonderful. I was crying my eyes out, and as I'm wrapping somebody's gift, I could hear him behind me on the phone going, you can't believe what's going on here. They gave us boots. They gave us coats. They gave us gifts. And now I'm going to be able to bring toys for the family. So I'm going to have something to give this year.
Nice.
It was really sweet.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. So getting back to your fundraiser.
Yep.
So the gala is June 12th. Now, is there any other event you have each year in regards to raise
Not
money?
yet. We're going to work on some golf outings in the future.
Okay.
We need to raise some money. We're going
Golf outings
to
are good,
tag some
yeah.
people. We might want to talk to you about helping us do another golf outing.
Sure,
That's
why
how we
not?
get people.
Sure, why not?
We got the guy behind the
Absolutely.
camera.
Absolutely.
We need to do more for these men
Right.
and women.
Yeah.
You know,
And we need
one of
help.
the stats is
Totally agree.
3 women join the military, any branch. 1 out of the 3 women that join the military is violently raped in the military.
Wow.
1/3.
Wow.
And they come back with a whole series of issues. And then when they come back, they might couch surf, which enables some more tragedy to happen in their life. So we work a lot with female veterans. We put together a few female veteran programs. We're trying to let them know that we still care about them.
Yeah.
It's ongoing.
Right.
You speaking about getting into New York City. What is the obstacle there to get into New York City? It seems like you do a lot
The
of work
biggest
in Suffolk
obstacle
and
is
Nassau.
so much more of
Bureaucracy.
bureaucracy. There's so much more need. And to be honest, we're talking about fundraising. There's so much more money needed. Going to one shelter in the city might result in $20,000-$30,000 of cash layout just for one location, one of the bigger locations.
Yeah.
So we need to raise some money. We need to get some other city organizations involved.
Right.
We need to talk to other city nonprofits
Right.
and see if they want to partner and do some projects with
Right.
us.
How about the Nassau, Suffolk County, NYPD unions? You ever speak to the unions?
Yeah,
And
they've
they're
been
involved
fantastic.
as well, right? Great. That's I
Police
figured they would
and
be.
fire departments have been.
Right.
They
Great.
kind of get it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We do. We do.
That's
get it.
one. You know what? Not getting political. They kind of get it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they kind of understand this. First of all, in the police department, there's a lot of retired military.
Right.
There's a lot
True.
of military.
Right.
Same with the
Reserve,
fire department.
Reserve guys. A lot of guys in reserve.
As I said, I couldn't believe from every walks of, I remember one of the men we saw, and I said, "You look familiar to me." And he was a New York City, I'm not going to name the team, professional football player who joined the military after 9/11 and went through some horrific stuff and became homeless.
Yeah.
I reached out to the team, and I think they finally got to him and tried to help him a little bit. Because the vet won't reach out on his own. Their
Right.
pride.
Right.
We call something really important. And here's our biggest obstacle. We never take pictures. So if I'm in a shelter in Brooklyn, I'm in a shelter in the Bronx, I'm in a shelter in Long Island, we don't take pictures of the men and women at the shelters. We do these big events. I think we have a big event we do every year in Freeport. We'll see 600 vets. And these vets come through with cars. We never take pictures of the vets. We take pictures of Susan, me, all the volunteers. We'll take your
Right.
picture. Reason we do that is very, very early on, we're at a shelter, and somebody took a picture of a vet, and they put it on social media. I don't even know what it was. I think it was MySpace or might have been before Facebook. The vet got embarrassed. And he blew his brains out.
Wow. Some
So
story.
we made a basic rule early on. If you're
Yep.
coming, we love to bring the volunteers. You can take pictures of yourself, selfies, and you can take a picture of the vet from behind. I've taken pictures of the vet's shoes once we give them the new boots. But we don't take pictures of them. They're not in any psychological state
No.
to say, hey, take my picture.
Right.
They're in a bad place.
Right.
One of my favorite lines, and I not a favorite line, one of my reality lines is when I meet a vet in a location and they're looking at me, they seem sad, I say, this is just a reset. It's like that computer you have at home. You can't get it to work. What do you got to do? Sometimes you got to unplug it
Yeah.
and you plug it back in again. You're plugging your computer back in.
Right.
At our gala, there's a gentleman we're honoring, and we met him in a shelter. We brought him boots, we brought him a coat, we brought him underwear, and we befriended him, and we were there for him. And when that veteran got his first apartment, I think we were still doing twin-size beds then, we got him a bed and a toaster and the microwave and everything that he needed. And he got to know us a little bit. Well, now he's doing great. He's buying his first house. He's buying a house in Sayville, New York. He works with our organization, works with several other major veteran organizations, helping other vets.
Wow.
So we look for a kind of a vet award, and he's going to be one of our awardees at this year's gala. We have another neat thing we're starting. We're starting a scholarship. There's a little girl with us, and she's going to be a scholarship recipient, one of our very first scholarship recipients at our gala, who's worked for 10 years since she's 7 years old helping vets. The main honoree is a gentleman named Paul Fatcher. And sorry, Paul, I always mispronounce your name. He was the CEO of Long Island Cares. He's fed so many veterans and so many people through the tri-state area, mostly Long Island. We really picked the right people. No honoree where, hey, you bring a table, we'll give us
Yeah.
$20,000. We're looking for the real people.
Right.
And
People really want
it's
to
going
be
to be
there and
exciting.
be involved.
The
Right.
exciting news is, and I hope he's well enough for it because he's going through a couple issues right now. You want to talk about it for a second?
Yes. Dominic Critelli, he just turned 105
Oh, wow.
year
God
old
bless.
World War II combat vet, Battle of the Bulge. That he did the Ranger Islander game with his saxophone.
Oh, okay.
We saw him on YouTube. I found his phone number. I called him up myself and invited him. Just can't wait. He's going to come
That's
and do our
great.
national anthem.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And with him, he engaged us with his agent, as he calls him, but another gentleman who does some work with World War II vets. So we're hopefully going to have 3 or 4 World War II vets at our gala. So now we have like an event within an event, because as we've been talking about it and promoting it, people are like, are we going to be able to take pictures with them? So I've created a little space for them. And Dominic, so we hear, really likes to play the sax. And so we were told that, the national anthem is great, but he's going to want more time. So what we've arranged is he's going to play some American standards during the dinner hour.
Oh, very nice.
So we'll have some lovely background music from Dominic.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it should be a wonderful event.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the men that have saved the world?
Right.
I mean, these are,
Yeah. I mean,
saved the world.
thanks to them, we have freedom.
And
right? I mean,
absolutely.
Not free.
Freedom's not free. Right?
Nope. And,
So-
and we have so little of them left that we really have to treasure them and honor them continually. And they're so excited to come. So
Yeah.
we're honored to have them.
We got to get one guy from New York City. We're getting a ride getting him out. He
Yeah.
lives close here. He's
Oh,
a couple
okay.
blocks away from where we are right,
Right.
now.
Okay.
Exciting. It's, you know what? But talking about the gala and the fundraising's
One thing.
exciting. But what we do is so important to
Yep.
give these men and women the dignity again. I talk about one vet that I met, and I'm in St. Albans, Queens, at a shelter that's no longer there. And he's crying. I'm like, why are you crying? What happened? And he said, you gave me underwear. And my mom told me I could never go to, this is a Saturday morning, I could never go to church until I had clean underwear. And now I have underwear. And he was a 4X. I remember this vividly. And we go to 5 or 6X if we need it. We'll do that. And typically, you're not getting a 4X pair of underwear in Target.
right.
So nobody's donating that, but we went to that thought. And I get in trouble with the next statement. Sue's laughing at me now. The same day, really, there's a woman in a corner, and she's closed up. She's sitting like that. She's got a hoodie on. And we had a couple women volunteers with us. I said, can you go find out what's got, we're giving out, we had Dunkin' Donuts with us and bagels
Yeah.
and all our duffels. And I said, go find out what the story is. It turned out she didn't have a bra. I did this in front of a Mount Senior. Susan got mad. I did this pressure. This was a big girl. We got permission from the VA because we had to get permission to take her out to a specialty store. And we took her out to a store in Queens the next weekend. And I didn't. A couple of women took her out.
And got
And
it
we
fitted.
changed her life.
Wow.
Changed her
bra.
life with a bra.
Wow, just a
For
bra.
$40, guys.
Right.
Wow.
You don't think about the simple things. We make it really complicated. Let's come up with a program. In New York City, I know a few years ago, they were doing $1 million program. And this one just amazed me, to do a survey to see if these garbage cans worked.
Of course.
Can you just go buy the garbage cans and put them out?
Typical. That's it.
What do you got to
typical.
figure that one out for?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
underwear, $15.
Yeah.
Right.
A bra, she needed 2 specialty bras. I know that we got them at some kind of special bras, $40. A pair of boots, $30. A coat, $30.
One last question I do want to ask is, you folks doing God's work here for the vets, and thank you very much for doing this. What would you say, where can the government step in and really, really help out and take care of our vets?
So many places. Acknowledge it. Stop making up numbers. Stop hiding them. Some of the shelters we go to that are government run, they're almost hidden because the government doesn't like to even talk that there are homeless vets.
Right.
What's making the biggest difference is you today. And I really thank you for this.
Oh, no, thank you for being here.
This is how we do this.
Right.
We recruit people to let them know that this is a reality, that
Right.
a woman needs a bra. A guy does need a pair of 4X underwear so he can go to church. Can we put a bed under that vet who's coming out, who's living on the cot?
Right.
How do we not put that bed under that vet? So each one of these apartments, our cost is around $1,800. So general needs cost for this, which is super duper wholesale for really nice stuff.
Right.
How do we stop? We can't even touch New York City. New York City's chomping at the bit to reach out to general needs to see if we can furnish the apartments to vets here. We need the financial resources to do it.
Right.
The government has given us Zippo,
Right.
zero.
Wow.
Zero.
Sorry to hear
And
that.
so I
Maybe
would
that's good.
add,
I don't even know.
If you're going to cast a broad stroke, I'd say the dental benefits. If the VA, if we're going
Oh,
to
my
call
God, yeah.
anybody out, the VA, and take on the dental benefits, because dental health, it goes to cardiac health, gut health, everything. And so why aren't they able to get dental benefits? Right. So why aren't the mass population of the veterans receiving dental benefits that they've earned and deserve? So put that into the budget. Right. So if you're looking at the budget as a whole, some of the other larger organizations that also do apartments, we get the calls and the requests that, there's a veteran moving from a shelter and she got accepted by XYZ organization, but it'll be 3 to 4 weeks until she can get her bed. What can you do?
Right.
We could do it in 2 to 3 days.
With our help, some PC Richards and organizations.
With help with
Yeah.
all of our partners, granted, yes, but we are able to react. And so it's that reactiveness, ability to listen and pivot.
Yeah.
Right. And we know that there's veterans who go down and speak to, the representation, but they should listen to
Yeah.
what the needs really are.
We did a house in Kings Park. I think we have a couple more minutes left.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We did a house in Kings Park, and it was an 82-year-old vet.
Yeah.
And from the outside, it needed a little cleaning up on the shrubs and stuff. But inside the house was more black mold than any of us have ever seen. So we had a mold remediation team in there for 3 days, removing mold. We had to rip out the kitchen. We had to get him mattresses. Now, he's in his house. He's got a 50-something-year-old disabled daughter living with him.
Oh, wow.
And he would not ask for help. His neighbor did. His neighbor reached out to several organizations, and they all turned him down.
Right.
Because they said, we want to see your best 3 years of tax returns and all your bank statements, and then we'll consider coming into your house. Well, before we did anything, he had no working toilet. He and his daughter were going to the bathroom in cups and bags and boxes. We got a toilet in there, and one day we got everything going within a short period of time. He had no heat. He had an old oil burner. We actually got the power company and the National Grid to come in actually and get natural gas back up to the house and changed all that. We reached out to other companies ourselves, and they said, well, we can't touch that until we see XYZ paperwork. Well, we know he's got no money. He's living in a house. He's pooping in a box.
Right.
Can we get him a toilet? Sometimes you can see things right in front of your eyeballs and say, we need to make that difference.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've been blessed that we can do that. Yeah. We just need other people to help us put the kitchen back in.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
and I would love, just to take this moment and see if there's, all of the big organizations have a champion, have a spokesperson. So if there's anybody out there listening who wants to join us, boy, we would love somebody to help us. Because there's so much more that we can do. We network all the time. We try to fundraise all the time. We're always taking, we go to meetings and we do our thing. But sometimes it takes that person.
Yeah, true. Well, Susan and Lonnie, you guys do God's work. You do great work. I'm very honored to have you folks here today, taping Cop Talk podcast. And to all our listeners out there, could you please once again tell folks how they can reach out to you, whether to be a volunteer, to sponsor, or again, website, and they can get involved with you, maybe the gala as well.
Generalneeds.org. That's one word, generalneeds.org. 631-266-1672 is a phone number that goes to Susan's cell phone, my cell phone, several other phones. We're always picking it up. 631-266-1672.
1672.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We need help. Even if somebody wants to say, I'm a teacher at a school and I want to do a sock drive and the kids are going to collect, that happens all the time. Our biggest help and biggest support, even for the past 15 years, have been police departments, have been fire departments.
Yeah, sure.
Because they kind of get it.
Oh, yeah.
And if they want to reach out and say, hey, we want to, we're going to drive on the belt with you to get those duffel bags to that shelter in Brooklyn from Freeport, that would be a help.
All our listeners, if you want to get involved, you heard it right here. It's a great organization, great foundation, and Lonnie and Susan and Lonnie Sherman.
Thank you.
It's great to have you guys on the show.
Thank you.
And
Wonderful.
Thank
you so much. We appreciate it.
And I know PC Richards does great work with the NYPD as well as with you folks as well, and Nassau and Suffolk County Police Departments as well. So thank you all.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Cop Talk. If you like what you hear, you can follow us on social media. And until next time, God bless you, God bless America, God bless our veterans, and God bless law enforcement throughout our country. Till next time, thank you.